What's up, guys? This is Justin, the Board Game Roamer, and today we are going to be talking about secret rooms and lockpicking in Dungeon Crusade. Let's get started. Welcome to the Rulebook series. So, one of the actions that you can take on your turn is to try to discover a secret room in the dungeon. And do remember that this is a paid action, right? So this isn't one of the free actions, so this will cost one of your actions. So you can see here on our reference sheet, move adjacent to and attempt to discover a secret room. So what do we do when we do that? So first thing we need to know is this token here is the secret room token. So as part of seeding the dungeon, you will have these put into the different chambers. And there's only a couple of those. There's not a whole lot of secret rooms out there. And so you're going to be looking for that. So you're going to, as an action, move to be adjacent to this, right? Move to be adjacent to the room. And I would note that it doesn't necessarily mean like by the door, right? So here's the entrance. It could be up here, could be over here, right? Just adjacent, right? To see whether there really is a secret room there. It's kind of like you're going around the chamber and looking for that, that stone or that lever or whatever it is. So if we see that token, that means there's a potential for an a secret room. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw out from the bag or the cup one of these tokens. Now, if you notice this token here, you'll see two numbers in the bottom left, or one number in the bottom left, one in the right. These are the numbers that you're going to use to potentially discover the secret room, okay? So the number on the left, that 3, says I've got 3 attempts, okay, to the amount of attempts to discover the secret room. And on the right is the difficulty, right, that I need to have as my target. So in this case, we have 3 attempts, and we have a difficulty of 16 to discover this chamber. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at our heroes, and we are going to find their wisdom score. In that case, that is this 0 here that looks like a mind. I think that's wisdom. In this case, our rogue has a 0. Whereas, for example, our knight, right, he's got a 2 there. So let's use our knight. He's got a little bit better of a chance as an example. Okay, so our target is 16. So we're going to take a d20. We're going to have 3 attempts to get that number. Remember also, not just their base score from their character sheet, but also any kind of items they may have. So, for example, if he had this equipped, this adds +1 to the wisdom. So, that being the case, we'd actually have 2 + 1. So, we'd have a +3 to this roll. So, we have 3 attempts. Okay, well, on the first roll, it's a 19. So, that means we have discovered that there is a secret room. Okay, now, here's the deal. You will also pull out a lockpicking token, right? And so here's an example of a lockpicking token. So you can see here we have a number in the bottom left. In this case, it says ×2, and then we have 3 numbers, a red, green, and a blue. Those 3 numbers correspond to the 3 D6s that we have available to us in the game. And we've got the white number is the number of rolls, and the other numbers are the target numbers. So we need a 3 or higher in the red, a 3 or higher in the green, and a 3 or higher in the blue in order to successfully unlock. So the wisdom roll is, did we find and we see that there's a secret room? Yes, we did, because we passed that. Now, can we open the lockpick for that room? So we've got two attempts. Now, also on your character sheet, you will have an icon here that shows how many lockpick attempts you get added to or subtracted from. So in this case, our knight, right, he was good at finding secret rooms. but he's kind of trash at lockpicking, right? That ain't his thing. So he's got a -1. Let's say, hey, maybe, let's say that our rogue happened to have succeeded, since it was a 19, right? Let's say that she succeeded. Well, she actually has 2 additional attempts. So she would have a total of 4 potential rolls that she could use, right? But as it stands, unfortunately, our rogue was not the one that discovered it. It was, in fact, our knight. So we're going to take the d6s, all the d6s. We're going to roll it. So we've got a 3, 4, and a 6. So red, green, blue. So a 6, a 4, and a 3. 3 higher on the red and the green and the blue. So we're successful. So we did, in fact, find that secret room. So we can put this up right here. That's an unlock, right? So now we know that there's a secret room there. Let's say that, unfortunately, we had failed that lockpick attempt. So on the opposite side of this secret room card, or not, sorry, not failed the lockpick attempt. If we'd have failed the wisdom roll, then we would have flipped this over, right? That's not right. Right, so yeah, if we had failed that discover attempt, then there is an opposite side of this token that had our attempts on it, has a locked, and we put that there, and that will tell us there was one there, but it's locked up. We can't get into it, can't go into it, and so this chamber would basically be, there wouldn't be anything in this chamber. We would move on, and continue moving through the dungeon. We'll also point out, let's say that we used our knight to discover it, and now we have our lockpick token, right? So as an action, it's one action to discover the secret room. It's another action to attempt the lockpick, okay, of a discovered secret room, right? So we could, for example, have our knight discover the room, and he can continue on through the dungeon, and we could have maybe our rogue, if it was like some really high numbers or you just don't want to risk it, have the rogue come back later as an action and attempt to unlock that lock. So in her case, she would have had those 2 additional attempts. So she would have had 4 attempts if, let's say, that she rolled, right? So if this had been the roll with the knight, because he got 1 less attempt, a 6, and 1, and a 3, the green was a fail, so this would have been locked, right? So no, we wouldn't be able to get in there. But she would have 3 more rolls, get it, and once we get a success, so that 3, right, the red and the blue in this case are successes, we can set those aside, right? We don't have to re-roll. It's not 3, all 3 numbers at one time. It's just at some point during your rolls, all 3 numbers got it. So there's a 5. So boom, with 2 rolls, she got it, and it's discovered. Okay, and that's what this token is. Now, what happens after we discover it? That's a great question. So once you successfully pick the lock of the door, which you would actually need to be adjacent to, you would use an action to move in to the room. And when you move into the room, there is a secret room deck. You would draw a random card from the secret room deck. There are good things in here. That you can find some stuff, or it may be empty. You don't know, right? So it's Dungeon Crusade. You don't get any freebies. So yeah. Now you will also notice on some cards, like encounter cards, and that are events and stuff like that, that there are lockpicking checks. So for example, here's an event card that has a check on it, right? So this says, this text basically tells you the same thing that this check says, but this is saying, hey, you got 3 attempts, here's your target numbers, and there's some things that you get for being successful, there's some things that you get for failing, and the same modifiers that you have on your hero. For example, a rogue here that would get 2 additional attempts, right? This would end up being 5 attempts for her. Then that does apply. So whatever gear is out there, because you're gonna randomly select a hero, right, in this particular one. So they may have some gear that would help. They may not. Just depends on who you happen to select. So yeah, that is the secret rooms and lock picking. Super fun. It's like a little mini game. You can find some really great stuff, or you can be really disappointed. You never know, right? So cool. That is all we have for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. I am Justin, the Board Game Roamer, and I will see you, my friends, in the next video of the series. Bye, guys.